the reason that we have 12 people that own everything in this country? Is Iran the reason that we have, an epidemic of poison food that's killing people and children? And is Iran the reason for any of this? Is Iran the reason that corporations in America just pillage and leave a trail of death and destruction in their wake? Is Iran the reason we have no health care? I mean, this is the most insane thing I've ever heard. She's saying Iran's the enemy of the UK because people pop off. The mullahs in Iran talk a lot of shit. What are they doing? Did Iran attack the UK? Did Iran attack the United States of America? Is Russia attacking the United Kingdom or the United States of America? Am I wrong? But when she says, just get her out of here. But when she says they're fighting a proxy war on behalf of us, and that's what the Ukraine is doing for Russia. It's on behalf of us. Number one, it's very dangerous to say because number one, there's a lot of people in this country that are not trying to get in a war with Russia. I mean, we're not trying to do that. I don't want to be in a war with Russia.
So, this is the normie take. This is the closest to the normie take, which is the attitude that people have towards this stuff is like, why is there so much fucking bloodshed? Why are we spending so much money? Why the fuck are we doing any of this? We shouldn't do this at all. Okay? Like, I don't give a shit that Iran is like religious fundamentalists. And I know for a fact, like, I'm not saying this is my position, by the way. I'm saying that the overall, the broader public sentiment now is basically, I don't fucking care what they're doing over there. Yeah, it's bad, but I don't think bombing them is going to solve it. And if anything, it's going to make things worse. We've seen what has happened in Iraq. We've seen what has happened in Afghanistan. Fix the goddamn potholes. Why the fuck are we fighting this war on behalf of Israel? That's like most people's feelings are that. They don't understand that America and Israel are doing this in a collaborative effort. Maybe sometimes Israel takes on a more militant advisory role that American leadership will abide by because it benefits their overarching interests regardless. But it doesn't matter. Americans are not making this calculation from that perspective. They literally think, oh, Israel's like calling the fucking shots here. Israel's calling the goddamn shots here, and it is ridiculous that we're going to fucking war with Israel. We're going to war with Iran at the behest of Israel. What the fuck did Iran do? Here's another point for the normie take.
Into a war with Iran or not, America, if Israel is trying to, I don't trust the Israel leader at all. I don't believe anything that guy says. And I don't think that our soldiers should have to go and defend stuff that they start. I'm not a soldier, so I'm obviously speaking out of turn. I'm not even brave enough to serve, so there's that element. But that is kind of how I feel, I guess. And so it's like, yeah, when do I speak? When do I say that? You know? Because it feels like they're trying to push Trump to go do that. And it's like, who makes that choice? Does he make that choice? And then what do we get? You know, what's the win for us? We're just involved in some other thing while we have suffering here at home. So maybe something like that is like, yeah. Should I even speak up? Because I'm not in service. Servicemen and women may be like, we'll do it, you know, and that's their commitment and their job. But yeah, I don't know. That guy really scares me. And I don't know why we support them. I don't understand that. I wish they would really give us a better explanation, you know, especially after the massacres in Gaza.
You guys are trying to make me actually want to kill myself from you guys make fun of and not accepting the fact that people who support Trump are not all bad. What are you... Dude, you're talking about a dude whose fucking podcast I've been on. What the fuck are you talking about? A dude who I communicate with all the goddamn time. Asshole. What are you saying?
Gaza, I don't understand. I do not understand that. And some people say, well, you don't know enough about it. That may, and I may not. But it's like, can I still speak about it? Can I speak about how I feel about it?
Even the very fact that there's like a level of concern about the backlash that he might receive as a consequence of the backlash that he already received when speaking out against Israel doing a genocide, like that fear in and of itself is another thing that certainly breeds resentment towards Israel. Like I've said before, Americans are somewhat selfish, okay? They're selfish people. And as selfish people, even if they think, oh, that's just war going on over there, even from the perspective of like, why are our tax dollars going to defend Israel is a real fucking point of consideration for the average American. Why are we spending so much money on Israel? Why are our politicians so servile to Israel? Why are we going to war with Iran at the behest of Israel? And last but not least, why can't I say anything about this without receiving a tremendous amount of scrutiny, without people fucking yelling at me and maybe even getting me in trouble? All of these things combined breed tremendous resentment towards Israel. Okay? From the average person's perspective, they don't make this calculation of like, well, imperialism is the final stage of capitalism. It's an absolute necessity. When profit rates have a tendency to decline, we have to constantly seek out newer markets to dominate by military force and be an ever-present force of dominance around the planet so that we can enjoy, cheap T-shirts and cheap commodities here. Like, they don't think about being a firm and committed part of the labor aristocracy. These are not calculations that people are making. They're not thinking about Israel's role in American foreign policy. They're just looking at Israel as this foreign country that is seemingly more important than the average American. That is precisely the reason why when Ted Cruz unironically is being honest about the role that Israel plays, or when Merz is honest about the role that Israel plays doing our dirty work, that's what he said, the German chancellor. They're right. They're correct. But the average person doesn't recognize that because they just think it's a foreign country. Why the fuck are we constantly at war? It also, even if we were to go to war, even if it was not at the behest of Israel, and Americans realize that, like, we were just doing this, just like with the war in Iraq, okay? That still breeds resentment over time where you're like, why are we spending so much goddamn money on this shit, dude? Why are we not spending the goddamn money on us, on ourselves? What the fuck is going on here?
You know? Moments like that, like when do I...
There is a reason why I don't fucking actively rail against Theo, in spite of the fact that he says stuff like this and then still hangs out with, like, Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who is most responsible for a lot of the instability in this region with his Abraham Accords, right? The reason why I don't fucking do that is because he still has an empathetic voice of reason for a lot of fucking Republicans who can have their minds changed, okay? Do you understand? You sometimes have to be cool, be chill. Recognize the different roles that people like this play